Good morning, students. Welcome back to online classes of digital communication. I hope you have all seen yesterday's class, right? The previous class where we have discussed about the introductory part of your digital communication, as well as we have seen the elements of your digital communication. What are the elements that you are having in the digital communication, and why we are going for the digital communication, right? So in today's class we are going to see about your pulse code modulation technique. So before we go to the pulse code modulation technique, once again we'll revise what were the elements that were present in your digital communication. So what were the elements? First, you had your digital information source. Yes, right? So this is your digital information source. Then you had your source encoder, then the channel encoder you're having, and then a modulator, a channel, then you will be having a demodulator circuit, then channel decoder, source decoder, and the use of the information, or you can also say it as a destination. So in the source information, what you will be going to do there? The very first one, whatever the information or whatever the data that you are going to have, the analog signal, that has to be converted into digitalized form, then it has to be transferred. So as to transmit the data, my voice signal, that has to be converted into digitalized form. That conversion is done in the source information, then that is given to your source encoder. Now what are the elements that are present in the source encoder, that I will discuss today in this class. So the source encoder, which will be converting your what are the information source, that can be whatever the information source data that you have got, that cannot be transmitted directly. So what we have to do, we have to first convert it into the digitalized form. First one is your message signal is converted into the electrical form, in the sense, right? Now that form is given to the source encoder, so that it will be converting your signal or your message signal or the information source into the digital form by using the source encoder, correct? So I'll repeat it once again. The symbols which you have produced by the information source, or the data which is given by the information source, cannot be transmitted directly. So they have to be first converted into digital form. So as to convert that into the digital form, you are using this source encoder. So the quite opposite of that one, source decoder will be using whatever the digitalized the data is there, you got at the receiver side, where that what it will be doing, it performs opposite, then it will be getting back to the original message or the original symbol or the original data what you have given at the transmitter side. Channel encoder. What was the channel encoder? Channel encoder is the one which will be adding the redundant bits, means the extra bits. In case of not in case, there is for sure that whenever you are transmitting your data from the channel through a particular channel to the receiver, what happens, compulsory some noise or distortion will be added. So as to reduce the distortion or loss of data whatever you have given, we are using the channel encoder, where that will be adding the redundancy bits or redundant bits, or you can also say it as parity bits. That are nothing but the extra bits that will be added to your codes or the data. Okay, then you will be having the modulator. So what is the modulator? So modulator is the one that will be adding it will be converting the bit streams into the waveform suitable for the transmission. So for that one, you will be having different kinds of modulation techniques over here, like similarly as in analog communication, like amplitude, phase, and frequency. Here also you are having three different kinds of modulation schemes, that are your amplitude shift keying, phase shift keying, and frequency shift keying. So here the modulation is what, it will be converting the bit streams into a waveform suitable for the transmission over a communication channel. Whereas demodulators, which converts the waveforms into the bit streams, again this channel decoder will be separating the extra bits that we have added. Source decoders, again they will be converting your digitalized data into the normal data that we have sent at the transmitter side here from the information source. So here at the destination we will be receiving the original data. So this was actually your elements of your digital communication. So now we are going to see our next topic, that is your pulse code modulation. I think you are also clear with the difference between your analog and digital communication systems. That is very important questions for 2 marks or short answers. Okay. Now see, we are going for the pulse code modulation. I am saying, see, be very careful whenever you are going to answer in the final exams. Examiner may ask in such a way that you people may confuse. Your seniors also got the question. Write the difference between the digital pulse modulation schemes. So the pulse modulation schemes and digital modulation schemes are different. Okay, pulse modulation schemes are nothing but your pulse code modulation and adaptive pulse, discrete pulse code modulation, delta modulation. There are different pulse modulation schemes that you will be having. So we should not go for pulse code modulation is different and digital modulation is different. When you are having the digital modulation techniques, you will be you have to write about the amplitude shift keying, phase shift keying and frequency shift keying. So when you are going for this waveform coding or digital pulse modulation, so you have to keep in the mind that pulse modulation is been given and you have to write about your pulse code modulation technique, then delta modulation technique, adaptive delta modulation technique. Okay, so these are different types of pulse modulation techniques that you will be having. One more is differential pulse code modulation. Okay, so here today we are just seeing about the pulse modulation techniques. I have just given the idea what is difference between pulse modulation techniques and digital modulation techniques. Digital modulation techniques is amplitude, amplitude, frequency and phase shift keying. Pulse modulation techniques you will be having in digital communication, pulse code modulation, delta modulation, and again in pulse code modulation you will be having differential pulse code modulation, and in delta modulation one more is there, adaptive delta modulation. So this is the difference between your digital modulations and pulse modulation techniques. So for this one, why actually we need pulse modulation? Why we require this pulse modulation? We haven't seen this topic in analog communication. What is the reason? Because when we are going for the pulse modulation, you are using now digital communication. Your data or the continuous data is digitalized, means you are giving it that into discrete format like zeros and ones. So that's the reason your signal, your continuous signal is converted into digitalized form like zeros and ones. So for that one, whatever the signal you are having, that is completely in the pulses. A pulse of trains will be given. So that's the reason we require this pulse modulation techniques. So many signals in this modern communication are digitalized because of the number of applications that we are having in this era. So every communication system requires digitalized data, and also analog signals are also transmitted digitally. What we have seen in your elements of digital communication, your analog signal is also now transmitted digitally, means you are converting your analog signal into the digital signal. And as to reduce distortion and improvement in signal to noise ratio. What is distortion? Means the extra bits or the extra noise that will be added to your original message signal. So in last class we have seen the difference between analog and digital communication. There we have seen that noise distortion can be reduced easily in digital communication, whereas in analog communication it's not possible. So that is the point, reduced distortion and improvement in noise to signal to noise ratio. Then you will be having pulse modulation schemes that we have seen in a PAM, PWM, PPM there also. Here you are having PCM and DM. So in continuous wave modulation schemes, some parameters of modulated waves are varies continuously with the message signal. So what are the continuous modulation schemes? Like amplitude modulation, frequency modulation and phase modulation. That all these what parameters? So your amplitude of your message signal is varied in accordance with your carrier signal. Correct? Amplitude of your carrier signal is varied in accordance with your message signal. Then frequency of your carrier signal is varied in accordance with your message signal. Similarly, the phase is also phase of the carrier is varied. So in continuous wave modulation schemes, parameters like amplitude, frequency as well as your phase, that are modulated waves varies continuously with your message signals. So in analog pulse modulation, what happens? Some parameters of each pulse is modulated by a particular sample of messages. So what you are doing in analog pulse modulation schemes, each pulse is been modulated with respect to your message signal. So the pulse modulation schemes of two types. One is your analog pulse modulation schemes, that is PAM, PWM and PPM. This we have seen in the last semester on your analog communication. Now in this semester you are going to see the digital pulse modulation schemes, that are your pulse code modulation and delta modulations. So this was your introduction about your pulse modulation schemes. Okay, so now see pulse code modulation. So what you are doing here, what you have done, pulse amplitude modulation. So amplitude is varied, the pulses of width is varied, and pulse position is varied. Okay, go back to your pulse amplitude modulation over there. I'll share the link of that particular video here. Just once I can revise that one. Analog pulse modulation schemes. See here in digital pulse modulation schemes, what happens? Pulse code modulation you have to do. Means the coding you have to do. So for the coding directly you can't do for the continuous signals. So that has to be converted to the digital form. Correct? So there are 3 steps involved in conversion of analog signal into the digital signal. That are your sampling, quantizing and encoding. These all are present in your source encoder of the elements of your digital communication. I'll show you the whole part of this one. This PCM encoder or your source encoder is there, no? This particular part, this is your source encoder. See what I have said, source information that will be converting just to your normal message into the electrical forms, correct? Now we have given that particular signal or the data or symbol to the source encoder. So this source encoder will be converting your analog signal to the digitalized form. How the digitalized form? So all these 3 steps are involved in this source encoder. What are the 3 steps? Sampling, quantizing and encoding. Remember that one, sampler, quantizer and encoder. Okay, now see this block diagram, conversion of analog signal to the digital signal. So before sampling, the signal is filtered to limit the band limit. So we are giving up to the signal of some particular band limiter, and then we are giving the analog signal. So first analog signal is given to your PCM encoder or any encoder. So very first step here is sampling. What this sampling will be doing? This incoming message signal is sampled with a train of narrow rectangular pulses. So sampling, so what this sampling will be doing? This is your analog signal. It will be just converting your these signals into a sample of or a sample with a train of narrow rectangular pulses. Okay, but it will be converting this into narrow rectangular pulses. Now this is fed to the quantizing or the quantizer. Now what quantizer will be do? This sampled signal is fed to the quantizer and it will be approximating each signal level of a prefixed value. Now we have just converted this message signals into a pulses. Okay, now these pulses have to be given a proper prefixed value. That prefixed value is assigned by using your quantizer. So the output of the quantizer is called as your quantized signal. Okay, which is nothing but a discrete signal. Okay, now first you have converted this into the pulses form by using the sampling or the samplizer. Now it is given to the quantizer. Quantizer will be approximating each input signal level to a prefixed value. See here, you have given it to the prefixed value. Here you are not getting any values of this particular one. So these samples are now having the prefixed value. Now this prefixed value or the quantized signal is fed to the encoder or the encoding part. This is the last block of your source encoder. So in this process of encoding, it will be involving allocating of some digitalized or the digital code to each level, and these code levels are transmitted as a bit stream of data, and that will be given in ones and zeros. So here you will be getting your digital data in terms of ones and zeros. So whatever the quantized signal you have got, to that particular one we will be assigning the values of zeros and 1. You are allocating some digitalized codes to that one, and that too in the discrete form or the bit stream form, and your output will be of ones and zeros. So this is how your analog signal is converted into the digital signal, right? So analog, what are the 3 blocks that you require for conversion of analog to digital? First one is sampler, quantizer and encoder. Sampler is the one, the input of the sampling is nothing but your analog signal that is given to the sampling, where your signal is what you will say, that is converted, or your message signal is sampled with some train of narrow pulses. You will be giving this signal is converted into a narrow pulses first here. Then it is what you will say, in quantizer it will be approximating each input signal to a prefixed values over here, and to this prefixed values you will be assigning the what we'll say, some bit stream values or the data, and that data is in terms of zeros and ones. So this is how your analog signal is converted into digital form. Now this was your conversion of analog to digital. Now we have to see your topic, that is your pulse code modulation. What is meant by pulse code modulation? So this is the block diagram of your pulse code modulation, or we can also say that elements of your pulse code modulation. So what you are having, this is actually in 3 blocks. First block is completely about transmitter. Second block you will be having the transmission path, and the third one is your receiver. So very first, similarly it will also be like elements of digital communication system, because it is a part of that one. Same, you will be having source of continuous time message signal, or a low pass filter you will be having over there. Okay, first you will be having source of continuous time signal, means for example I am the source of continuous message signal. I am giving the proper continuous signal, no? So I am the source. That is given to a low pass filter. Okay, well, what we have said, because we have to give it into the some band limit, we have to apply some band limit to that one, so we are using a low pass filter over here. Then it is given to the sampler, quantizer and encoder. What is a sampler? That will be converting your message signal into some particular number of samples. Then what is a quantizer? Quantizer will be approximating each signal level to a prefixed value, right? Then after this quantizer output is fed to the encoder's input. This encoder will be allocating some digital codes to each level, and these coded levels are transmitted in terms of the bit streams that are nothing but in ones and zeros. Now this PCM signal is applied to a channel input. So from this particular channel you have to give it to the receiver part. So in this one, this distorted PCM signal produced at the channel input, that is fed to the regenerative repeaters. So in the PCM code you will be having some number of regenerative repeaters in this part. Now what is sorry. So what is a regenerative repeater? So it is used at an intermediate point between your transmitter and the receiver. Yes or no? So in the between your transmitter and the receiver, it is a intermediate point. So what it, in order to boost up the pulse amplitude and avoid distortions. So as to avoid any distortions, because your transmitted signal through a particular channel is given to the receiver. So in that path or in that process, in case if your signal is getting distorted or your pulse amplitude is not perfect, so as to boost that one, in order to boost the pulse amplitude and as to avoid distortions, we will be using these regenerative repeaters. I'll repeat it once again, please note it down. The regenerative repeaters are the intermediate points between your transmitter and the receivers as to boost up your pulse amplitude. Okay, pulse amplitude as well as to avoid the distortions. It consists of equalizer, timing circuit and decision making circuit. So what these regenerative repeaters will be consisting in that one, they are also having 3 parts. In that one you will be having an equalizer that will be equalizing your signal. Then you will be having a timing circuit for each and every particular, because they are converted into samples and all. So you will be having a timing circuit as well as a decision making circuit. So these are the blocks that will be present in the regenerative repeaters. You no need of drawing or something of the regenerative repeaters. Just you have to give the information about what they will be consisting of. Okay. So after that you will be having these, again they are given to the final channel. Again you will be having regeneration circuit. After this regeneration circuit you will be given to the decoder. This decoder is used to convert the binary signal into the approximated pulses of the discrete magnitude. Then again it is given to the reconstruction filter as to construct your original amplitude of your particular message signal. The final operation in the receiver is to recover the original analog signal. Yes or no? You have to see that your original message signal is reconstructed, means proper amplitude or the proper sine wave should be obtained. So this is done by passing the decoder output through a low pass filter or a reconstruction filter. Here in this part, this one here, you can also use a low pass filter or any reconstruction filter. So the output of the low pass filter is analog signal. Okay, last one is your destination is your analog signal. So I hope you are clear with the elements of your pulse code modulation schemes. First, you will be having a source of continuous time signal or the continuous message signal that is given to a low pass filter, because we have to give some particular band limit. Then again it is okay. Then again we have given it to the sampler. This whole part is your source encoder. That is nothing but you will be having a sampler, quantizer and encoder. I hope you are all clear with the sampler. Can anyone tell? Like they can revise at least what I am going to tell about. What is a sampler? Sampler is nothing but the analog signal that is converted into number of samples. Quantizer will be approximating the values of that one. Okay, it will be approximating, giving the values. Okay, for each and each signal with prefixed values will be giving. Then it is given to the encoder, so that we will be assigning some particular digital codes to that one. So that output is given to the regenerative repeaters. Regenerative repeaters are the intermediate points between your transmitter as well as the receiver. So that are used to boost up your pulse amplitude as well as to avoid the distortions. And in this regenerative repeaters, you will be having equalizer, timing circuit as well as the decision making circuit. Then that is given to the regeneration circuit. The final channel output is given to the regeneration circuit. That output is given to the decoder. Regenerative circuit is nothing but the output what we have got from the regenerative repeaters. The same output means the proper amplitude without any distortion, that is given to the decoder. So this decoder again what it has to do, it has to convert the binary signals into the approximated pulses. Okay, here you have converted into pulses. Again this has to be converted into pulses, and this the reconstruction filter, the pulses the pulses values will be considered, and then it will be converting into the original analog signal, and that is given at the destination. So this was about your elements of your pulse code modulation. So here it is given about everything over here. What is sampling? So I have given the clear idea about your overall elements of the pulse code modulation. Again clearly if you want I can explain over here the process of converting the analog signal into discrete signal. Anyhow you have already learned about sampling in your last semester itself. You are having 3 different kinds of sampling: ideal sampling, natural sampling and flat top sampling. And if you consider out of all these 3, which one is the best? Flat top sampling, because here samples the top of the sample will be constant, so that there is no noise will be occurred over there. So that's the reason we are using this flat top sampling. Okay, then afterwards we are having sampling of the band pass signal. So band pass signal of bandwidth is given as 2 FM, that can be completely recovered from its samples, and that the minimum sampling rate is given as 2 into bandwidth, that is 4M. This we have given in the last sem. Okay, I hope you all remember. Now about quantization or quantizing. The quantizing of an analog signal is done by discretizing the signal with a number of quantization levels. Means repetition of the sampled value of the amplitude by a finite set of levels. We are giving some approximate values or a prefixed values, which means converting a continuous amplitude sample into a discrete time signal. So both sampling and quantization results in loss of information. Okay, but by using this regenerative repeaters and all, we can cover with that one. And about this quantization, how many kinds of quantization you are having, what are they, that we'll discuss in the next class. So I hope you are clear with this part of elements of pulse code modulation system. So what are the elements that are present in pulse code modulation, how your analog signal is converted into digital signal, what is sampling, what is quantizing and what is encoding. I hope you are all clear with this one. I'll just read some 2 to 3 advantages of your pulse code modulation technique. If you are you have to note it down. Okay, so pulse code modulation signals can be multiplexed and transmitted over a high speed communication link. I'll repeat it once again. Pulse code modulation signals can be multiplexed and they can be transmitted over a high speed communication link. That was the first advantage, and this is also very useful for long distance communication. I'll just read it out. Please note it down. In long distance transmission, clear waveforms can be regenerated by using the repeaters. So this is the advantage that we are using repeaters, that in long distance transmission clear waveforms, because what is the use of regenerative repeaters? They will be boosting up the pulse amplitude, as well as they will be removing any distortions if they are occurred. So in long distance transmission, a clear waveform can be regenerated by using the repeaters, and relatively inexpensive circuitry is involved in PCM. Means it is very less expensive when you compare. So these are the three advantages. One is relatively inexpensive circuitry, and PCM signals can be multiplexed and transmitted for a high speed communication link or over a high speed communication link. And third one is, in long distance digital transmission, clear waves can be regenerated by using your repeaters. So this was about your elements of pulse code modulation, advantages, and we have seen the conversion of analog signal to the digital signals. So you go through the video very properly. No, please make the notes also. I'll surely provide the notes, but you people also make the notes. In case of any doubts, please do let me know. Okay, we'll stop the class here itself. In the next class, we are going to see what is quantization, how many kinds of quantization you are having, and what are the quantization errors that will be occurring. Okay, so we'll end today's class here itself. Thank you.